This is where things went downhill. Things went downhill. It went down, like this, like down, down. Hi, hello, how are you? I hope you're doing well. My name is Sharon and thank you for tuning into this video. I hope you subscribe and I hope you like this video by the end, and yeah, like and comment and all of that good stuff. In the 12th grade, my school used to make us write down what we wanted to become, right, on like a little paper, and then they would put it on a report card and all that good stuff, and the paper would circulate and you see what everyone else wrote. And I remember this girl wrote that she wanted to be a neurosurgeon. I was just confused because I was like, what's a neurosurgeon? And then she was like, oh, it's a brain doctor. And I was like, wow, that sounds cool. And then she further told me that Zambia only had like 2 neurosurgeons, and you know, Africa needed a lot of surgeons, a lot of doctors, period. And I was like, that's something I could do, that's something I want to do. So yeah, just like that, that little seed was planted in my brain. And yeah, I did my grade 12. I got pretty good grades, and then I went to A level. This is where things went downhill. Things went downhill. It went down, like this, like down, down. So what ended up happening was, I thought for the first time in my life I had freedom, right? I thought you guys, I was a fool. I thought A level is like something you do part-time. I thought it's something that you do on the side, I went into A levels with that mentality. I was like, I've been smart my whole life, school has come very easy to me. What is A levels? I'm doing 4 courses. I think I was doing 3 courses. I was doing 3 courses. Yeah, AS beginning, and I was like, what is this? What's this? What is AS? It's nothing. So I was very, very playful. Yeah, I was very playful. I had freedoms that I never had before, So in my first term of A levels, I was failing. For the first time in my life, I was failing. And I didn't know what to think of it, because my whole life I had gotten good grades, so I didn't understand what was going on. I got my first results, I think it was my math results, and I got, should I say what it was? Okay, it was 33%. I got 33% in my first maths mid-semester test, and I just could not believe it. I did not understand how that came to be. Like 33, I had never, I used to be the type of person who gets upset if I get 66, and now I got 33. And then I get my biology results, and it was just as bad. Okay, biology, I was doing good in biology, but like my chemistry results were horrible. It was just bad, and I thought it was a fluke, right? I was like, it's just a whatever, it's not whatever. And so I wrote my end of term exams, and it was horrible, you guys. I failed. Failure where you can't even round up. It is that type of failure where maybe you fail and you're like, the teacher could have rounded up. There's nothing to round up. Rounding up 33 to A. So I was like, I'm failing. So I told my mom what was going on. I had no choice. She had to come for the parent-teacher conference, and the teacher was like, your daughter is failing everything except for biology. And my mom, she was so disappointed, like her face, she didn't understand it. I didn't understand it, and she didn't understand it. And I think that's what made the whole experience so scary, because I did not understand why I was failing. For the love of me, like, I cannot explain why I was failing. I didn't know why I was failing. And so that made me even more scared, because if I don't know why I'm failing, I don't know how to fix the failure. You understand? Like, I'm failing, yeah, but I can't fix it. So that was very, very scary for me. It was one of the scariest times in my life. And yeah, okay, so after my mid-semester exam, my principal, she brings me into her office, and she was like, sis, you're failing. I was like, I know. She's like, are you sure you want to do medicine? Like, are you sure this is something you want to do with your life? And I was like, yeah, I want to do medicine, I want to be a doctor. She was like, nah sis, like the way these results are looking, it looks like you want to do something else. Like, are you sure? And I was like, yeah. And I told her, I remember I told her I was just feeling a bit overwhelmed. And she said, if you're feeling overwhelmed now, what are you going to do when you get to medical school? And I think that was the lowest point for me on this whole journey. I was so sad after that, because she basically told me like I didn't have what it takes. And so I was just so sad. And once again, I did not understand why I was failing. This is very important. I didn't understand why I was failing, and you know, it made it worse because I didn't know how to fix it. I could not fix my failure because I didn't know why I was failing. So anyways, my dad got transferred. So during my first year of A-levels, that was around 2016, my dad got transferred to work in Botswana, right? So I got to leave the school, like the school that I was at, the program I was doing. I had to go to Botswana, so I stopped halfway. And yeah, that was around maybe August. I had to leave the failure behind because that was bad. So yeah, I went to Botswana, and in Botswana they do their A-level system different. I had no choice but to wait for the next intake. So in 2017 I got to start A-levels again, the biggest blessing of my life, because if I had written in 2016, I think Cambridge would have called me and said, ma'am, this was record level failure, like you have broken our record. I think that's what would have happened. But then when I moved to Botswana, I started school at Rainbow. I don't care if anyone else. So in Botswana, the Botswana government sponsors people who did really well in their O-levels, and they give them scholarships for A-levels, because in Botswana there's very few schools for A-levels. So they give them scholarships for A-levels, and they give them what are they called? Oh, and they give them scholarships abroad. After they do the A-levels, they get to decide whatever they want, and the government will pay for them as long as they come back to work in the country. So I was put in that class. I don't know what kind of negotiations took place. I was put in class with the overachievers, and it is the best thing that's ever happened to me, because they were writing in May. Keep in mind, it's the beginning of 2017. These people are writing the exam in May. Not only have I not learned the majority of the syllabus, the few that I knew about the syllabus, I had been failing it. So it was very difficult for me, because every day there was nothing to learn. They had finished learning, they were done with the syllabus, so every day was a test. They would just test us every single day. We'll go in, just write tests or get results, and it was so demoralizing for me because I was failing so bad. I think at one point I got like 11% on a math test. Yeah, it's true. It was so bad. It was, you guys, it was catastrophic. And what ended up happening was, first of all, the teachers were confused. They were like, huh, what are you doing here? Like, the teachers were confused, and the school actually didn't want me writing my exams under the name of the school. They wanted me to write as an independent candidate because I was failing that bad. The school didn't want to be associated with me. It was so bad, you guys. But then what ended up happening, where things started to turn around now, was the girls in the overachievers class, they were so nice to me. They invited me to study with them. Up to now, I still remember those girls. I still remember their names. They invited me to study with them. They were like, sis, come study with us. And I saw a whole new world of academics. So what I ended up learning was, first of all, I had pretty much costed my whole life academically on my intelligence. I grasp concepts very easy, very quickly. It's very easy for me to understand concepts and apply them. And in high school, they just teach you concepts and then you revise with the teacher. So the teacher is studying with you. And in A-levels, the teacher will teach you like a little bit, and then the rest you have to learn yourself and you have to revise it. So it was like I was a fish out of water because my intelligence didn't matter anymore. It doesn't matter how smart you are. If you don't know statistics, you don't know statistics. If you don't know how to work out 6 prime blah blah blah, you don't know how to work it out. Your intelligence can't do anything for you there. It's a small advantage, but if you're not working hard, ma'am, sir, nothing's gonna happen for you. So that's what I started to realize when I was studying with these girls, and I was seeing these people's work ethic. It was insane. The way these people work, you guys, the way these people work. Hey, lang. Ha! They would literally, like, they would come to school and they would talk about how they hadn't slept, and someone would be like, oh, you haven't slept? I haven't slept since yesterday. I haven't slept since that day. Like, they were just walking zombies. They would eat, breathe, sleep, school. School was their life. They were like on robot mode. Like, they were, it was crazy. And that dropped off on me, so I started school. You know, school was just my life. It was everything for me. So I would go to school, and then during break time I'm studying. During class, if the teacher leaves for a second, I'm studying. So what ended up happening for me was, it was such a revelation. It was so, I could not believe my whole life, like, this is what was happening. And brief side note, I noticed a lot in high school, and even sometimes in medical school, people like to pretend like they're this troubled genius. Like, people pretend like they're just passing just by not studying. Don't glorify that. That's ridiculous. Once you get to university, or you actually have to start working, ma'am, you will fail. Sir, do you know failure? It will come for you. Don't. And I think that is a bad habit that I had from high school, is that people were just praising me for being smart, but I never had to work on that. Like, I never had to work hard, really. Like, I would study, yeah, but not for like that. I wouldn't study for like that. So when I was in A-levels, and I was with those girls, and I would see the way the class was, I couldn't believe that people live like their lives like that. Like, school is here, and then their lives are revolving around school. They were hungry for it. They were machines, and that transferred onto me. So, and keep in mind, I was only with these people for like a month. I was in that class for a month, until my maths teacher came to me and she was like, sis, you're failing. She was like, you are failing ridiculously. Why don't you write in November? And I was like, I was a bit embarrassed. I was like, ish, this is real bad. Like, they're telling me to write in November. So I called my mom, and she was like, do it. And so I decided to write in November, and immediately a weight was lifted from me. Like, I was under so much pressure, and a weight was lifted off of me. And when I went to class so I basically joined the regular people, like the regular achievers. But the difference was, I was in a class with regular people, but I had now developed the work ethic of an overachiever. So these people's work ethic had rubbed off on me. So literally the rest of my classmates, you know, they're just living life normal, the way I would have lived before. But because I'd seen the other side of the world, I was a machine. I would wake up, study, go to school, study, in the bus, going back home, study, before I sleep, study, in my sleep, dream about studying. It was eat, sleep, breathe, work, school. Everything was school. Like, my life revolved around school. You guys, I was a machine. Like, I was not sleeping. I was not, hey, school came first. And it got so, it was such a refreshing feeling, you know, knowing that the teachers now knew my name for good reasons. Like, I went back to being a teacher's pet, except this time I had deserved that respect from the teachers. I had actually worked for it. I had earned it. Whereas before in high school, yeah, I mean, yeah, I wasn't really doing much. So yeah, that's what ended up happening in my A-levels. It lit a fire up my bum like crazy. And also, I didn't want to waste my parents' money, because that school was so expensive. Why was that school so expensive, huh? It's so expensive. But I didn't want to waste my parents' money. So it got to the point where my studying was actually affecting my social life, in the fact that I didn't have a social life. I didn't have any friends. It was just school. We just school all the time. And yeah. So I wrote my exams. Oh, before we talk about the exams, like, my other classmates, it got to the point where I could feel the animosity coming from them. They were just like, this girl, she thinks she's better than us. One of my classmates actually said that, like, what, she's gonna go to the library and she's not gonna talk to us because she thinks she's better than us. And the reality was, nothing was gonna make me fail. Not, I tasted failure, I felt it, and I was not gonna go back there again. So my mid-semester results come, my mid-year, my marks, my end of year exams come, and I had done well. I got 2 A's and 2 B's, which is really good for A levels. I mean, I'd written AS at that point, so it was really good. I was super proud of myself. At that point, I was trying to get into the University of Pretoria, and you needed 2 B's and a C, I think, yeah, before they consider you. So I was like, I have done enough to apply. So I decided to apply, and when I was applying, I was noticing something strange. There was no option for me to, you know, state that I'm an international student. There was no like place that said, are you an international student? I don't know why I said like, but there was no space for that. So I was just like, huh? So my dad called the school, and then I got the bad news that the University of Pretoria, along with the majority of South African universities, were not accepting foreigners anymore, especially foreigners from SADC countries, because apparently SADC countries came together and they had like a big meeting, and they were like, South Africa is draining our, you know, our doctors. Like, we're having brain drain. We're having brain drain because a lot of our most talented students are going to South Africa, especially in medicine, and they're gonna work in South Africa, but we're not gonna have doctors decide. And basically, instead of using their little brains, all those countries, them using their brains, saying, why are they leaving? Why do all these people want to leave to go to South Africa? They didn't think that. No, they just said, let's trap them in their countries. They want better for themselves. How dare they? Let's trap them in their countries. And so that's basically what happened. That really broke my heart, because after working so hard finally, and you know, something that I felt like I deserved to get into that program, I was told, well, for circumstances beyond your control, we're not gonna take you. And that just broke my heart into a million pieces. I was so heartbroken. It still stings up to this day, like damn, I really worked hard for that, and like they were like, nah, we're not gonna take you because you're Zimbabwean. So angry. But anyways, we move. So my parents are like, what's plan B? Plan B was the University of Botswana. And those guys told me, because I hadn't done my full 2 years of A levels, I'd only done AS. They're like, yeah, we're not gonna take you unless you do the first year of Bachelor of Science, right? Do all the sciences, the general sciences, and then let's see if you pass. Oh yeah, this is how crazy it was. Are you listening? This is not how crazy it is. They said, because you're a foreigner, you have to be in the top 10% of the 65 people who are going to take for medicine. And keep in mind, Botswana only has one medical school. One medical school, the whole country. And there were like 1,000 of us in pre-med. You see my odds? It's like trying to fit a camel through like a needle thingamabob. What is that first? Yeah, it was like that. So I knew my odds were pretty much, but because I had this newfound work ethic, I was like, I can do it. It's a challenge, I want to do it, you know, because I'm a foreigner. There's only 10 spots for me. No, 10%. So there was only 6 spots. There's only 6 spots out of 1,000 of us. Let me see how hard I can work. And so I worked hard. My first semester at UB, I worked really hard. I was really good. I was a nerd. Like, you guys, people didn't want to hang out with me because they're like, this girl is just a nerd. And it's true. I used to sit in front of the class, or I had to make sure that all the teachers knew me. I was that person. I used to sit in front row all the time. And yeah, my GPA was really good. And then for my second semester, my GPA, my second semester, I don't know what happened. I think I'm not gonna blame my roommate. Should I do a story time on that roommate? Because she was trifling. She was the worst, the absolute worst. But yeah, I started living on campus, and that kind of changed things for me a bit. and I kind of slowed down a little bit. I got too comfortable, so my final GPA was 4.0. Yeah, roughly 4.0, and the lowest GPA out of the people that were selected was actually 4.2. So I was very close, and they were like, yeah, we're not gonna take you because you don't fit into this GPA situation. You know, you're not one of the 6 or one of the 65. And that was heartbreaking because I just spent a big portion of my life really working hard. It was really difficult for me. So when I was at UB, the University of Botswana, they gave us an option. If you're a medical student, you get the option, or if you want to apply for medicine, sorry, you get the option to also apply for other courses, because the chances of you not getting accepted are very high. So I applied for the university for engineering, civil engineering. I applied for electrical engineering and mechanical engineering, and I got accepted for all 3. And I thought, you know, when I got the news that I'm not going to make it into medical school, I thought, you know what, my parents can't keep like funding this. You know, my friends, I think my friends were like in 2nd, 3rd year, 4th year, like people I went to school with were, you know, halfway through with their studies. I haven't even started mine. So I was like, should I change? Should I study engineering? And I thought maybe my dad was gonna be like, hang it up, flat screen, like just do engineering. But he was actually like, nah, you're gonna do medicine. Let's try another country. Let's try Zambia. So there's a reason. Should I get it? Maybe I should do a different video on this, but I ended up choosing Zambia for a lot of reasons, as opposed to going to China, as opposed to going to Russia, as opposed to going to Poland and all of that. But the majority of the reason was I didn't want to have to go back and work in Zimbabwe. If you go to China, you're gonna have to work in Zimbabwe. You're gonna have to work in Zimbabwe. They take you back to your country. My country is Zimbabwe. And yeah, I don't want to have to do that. And also, I've always wanted to, and oh, I remember I watched a video on YouTube from Dr. Natalie Caitlin, and she mentioned her reason for doing her internship in Botswana as opposed to doing it in China. And so there's a lot of factors. Ultimately, I decided I wanted to do this in a SADC country because that's where I want to work. I want to help in Africa. Remember my dream? Remember when I learned what a neurosurgeon was, and the fact that there was only 2 of them in the whole of Zambia, and I decided I'm gonna be the 3rd. Hopefully by that point it's still not just 2. Hopefully there's more, but that's what I always wanted to work in Africa. So I was like, why should I go to China if I'm just gonna come back to Africa for the experience or what? But yeah, and you know, we talked about it, moved back and forth, and I finally found myself at the University of Lusaka in Zambia. And it's such a crazy story. Like, I started in Zambia, I did my high school in Zambia, I moved to Botswana, and then back in Zambia. And I actually like UNILAS. Like, I really like my university. I think, you know, obviously it's one of the only universities in Zambia doing this systematic based way of learning medicine, which is a very ambitious thing to do, and I think they're doing it very well. It's a new school, so there's still some construction going on, but academically they're doing a very good job with us, I would say. And I could do a separate video on like that, but I'm gonna do a lot of vlogs, so you guys are gonna see the school, you're gonna see like the infrastructure. And if you're interested in going to UNILAS and you have questions, do I want to help? Do I want to help? No, I'm joking. Definitely feel free to DM me. You know, my socials are all over my description box. So yeah, that's the ridiculous story of how I got into medical school, and like how it started out with failure. I started failing from the beginning and found my way up to UNILAS. Yeah. I think the takeaway would be hard work is hard work. You know, medicine is one of the few career choices out there that are true meritocracies. Your hard work speaks for itself. It doesn't matter how you present yourself, it doesn't matter what people think about you, it doesn't matter how you look, what you do in your spare time. If you work hard, come close. If you work hard, it will reflect in your medical school journey. Like, it will reflect in your grades, it will reflect when you're a doctor, your mortality rates. It will reflect. You can't BS your way out of it. You can't lie your way out of it. You can't cheat in medicine. You're either working hard or you're not, period. So yeah, this has been the story time. This has been a long video, oh my god. So please like this video, comment and subscribe. Comment and subscribe. Comment and subscribe. Comment and subscribe.